Welcome to part two of episode 100 of the Leveraging AI podcast. If you have not listened to part one, go back one episode and listen to it first. It's a big event. And if you're only going to listen to part two, you're only going to listen to half the amazing experts that participated and share their best tips on how to use AI in your business. So go and check that out first. And if you have listened to part one, go and check out part two. And obviously, if you like this podcast in general, I would really appreciate if you subscribe and share this with other people who can benefit from it.
In the next few years, AI technology will change our world dramatically. Whether you are a business executive trying to catapult your business forward, or just somebody who refuses to be left behind and want to advance your career, this is the show for you. I'm your host, Isar Meitis, a serial entrepreneur and an AI enthusiast. You'll hear invaluable practical tips from innovative business leaders, AI practitioners, and some of the brightest AI minds in our world today on how you can leverage AI in ethical ways to advance your career and grow your business.
And next we have Jordan Wilson. So Jordan Wilson is a successful marketing agency owner for years, and he has jumped all into AI very early on with his Everyday AI show and newsletter. If you're not listening or being subscribed, it's one of the people here that you want to follow their stuff. He is amazing in creating AI solutions for more or less anything in his business, and he's going to share how to use company first-party data with AI in order to win. As a data geek, I'm really excited. Jordan, let's go.
Isar, thank you so much for having me. It's good to be back with y'all. So let me just see if I can share my screen here. There we go. Bam. All right. First of all, the guests today have been amazing, and everyone's doing a superb job of sharing different tools and techniques. So I wanted to talk about something different. I wanted to go big picture because there is a huge problem right now that's happening with data. No one's talking about it. I'm going to give you hopefully what you need to know in a couple of minutes and what your company can do about it. All right, real quick about me. Isar did a great job, but we are an AI media company and consultancy. So we've worked with thousands of individuals on prompt engineering and AI implementation. But here's what I really wanted to talk about and what's happening. AI, first of all, sorry, y'all, I'm a realist. AI is going to both create and take away a lot of jobs. All right, let's just put that out there. But our roles as skilled marketers, admin, analysts, etc., they're going to change. And companies need to be preparing for that change now. It is great to use all these great tools and prompts, etc., but that's not going to help you succeed in the future. Here's what we need to know. Right now, McKinsey study, we've seen this, 60 to 70% of knowledge workers' time is going to be automated by generative AI. The World Economic Forum, 60% of jobs in the West could be impacted. Goldman Sachs, 300 million jobs can be impacted. Oh, it's terrible, right? Not really. Not if you are preparing your company. All right, here is the issue. Literally, no one's talking about it. ChatGPT is not new, y'all. The GPT technology has been widely used since 2020. And as someone that has offered SEO in the past, so much of this data that is going into these large language models, these multiple trillion parameter large language models, has already been created using AI. And actually, studies are showing that 90% or more of the content that we see online is going to be AI generated by next year. That is wild. It is also extremely problematic because data quality is a huge issue. Right now, smart companies have figured this out, but you even have to the point now where universities in the US are selling their students' data and research because they know that large language model companies need better data. All right. So here's another thing that you should be doing right now. There's going to be a major shift on how you should be upskilling your employees and how you need to have an AI first mindset. Here's what you got to start doing right away. Yes, jobs are going to look much differently. If you are a knowledge worker, if you spend the majority of your day sitting in front of a computer, like so many of us do, getting paid for your knowledge and expertise, that is not how you are going to be rewarded in the future. All right. It is going to be how you can leverage generative AI both in your role and your company. So we've talked about RAG, right? Retrieval augmented generation now for the last year or two. And this is about how you can bring your own data first before it goes to the large language model. And this is the crux of what I want to talk about today, because company success in 2024 will be how they turn their company's IP, their first party company data, their expertise into high quality data for their large language models. Whereas right now, we are relying and probably over-reliant. If we talk just as an example about Gemini 1.5, Claude 3 Opus, GPT 4o, unfortunately, it is a lot of low quality data. The training is getting better and better. However, if you want your company to succeed in 2024 and beyond, you need to be thinking about what happens if generative AI implementation works at your company, right? Everyone's investing so much time, money, and resources. But what happens when it works? You need to have a plan with what happens with all of those knowledge workers who are now 60 to 70% more productive. And I'm telling you right now, the companies that succeed next year and beyond are going to be the ones that are putting those people to use, recording and turning their first party company knowledge into data to use with large language models.
Bam. Oh my God, this was awesome. I love this. And I agree with everything you said. Any offer that you are making or want to make?
Yeah, we don't do this a lot. I think we've only done this like twice in 15 months, but we are going to be offering a 20% discount on our Biz edition of PPP. That is our Prime Prompt Polish course for businesses. Normally don't do discounts, so I'll throw that in the chat. But Izar, thank you for putting this together and for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you want to know more, we had Jordan on episode 82 of the podcast. And next we have Celeste Amile. Celeste
Hi.
has been in the creative world her entire career, and she's now mastered how to use AI to put some jet fuel into her creative juices, and she's teaching other people how to do the same. She's going to share how to master content creation with GPTs without getting generic results. Celeste, so awesome to have you back.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad to be here again. So let me just start right away sharing my screen. And now, just as a quick reminder, you're going to be able to have this guide available in the resources that I'm going to share you, because I don't think we are going to have enough time to cover all of this. And just make sure that you can duplicate this as a template, because this will be available only for a short period of time, because this is just some of the things that we covered in my program where I help people to build personal brands with AI in a smarter way. This is a structure to build GPTs that are really useful for your content and not just trash. So the best structure to build your GPTs for content is just to use the RARE framework. So here you can say, just act as role, follow a specific action to achieve these results, emulating my examples. And the way that you do this is, for example, hey, ChatGPT, act as role. So for example, copywriter or social media expert, or then follow a specific action. And for this is an awesome hack I just discovered, because I didn't understand why my GPTs were so unstable. Sometimes they did just half of the things that I asked, and I was like, why? I'm just telling you all the instructions, please follow them. But the thing here is that the longer the prompt is, ChatGPT will have a harder time to finish and to follow all everything. So if you have step 1, create the hook, step 2, analyze and the enough information, step 3, just review your training data, it will be more stable. Then you explain the results that you want to get. For example, providing results of good versus bad behaviors. For example, what specific tone of voice you wanted to use, what words you don't want it to use, or how long you want your content to be. For example, I just analyzed this GPT, these posts from LinkedIn, and I realized that none of these lines of text was longer than 60 characters long. So you can say, hey, I don't want you to give your output in more than 60 characters. And when you put all of these examples together, you can basically have a GPT or build a GPT that can do this. In my case, I wanted to create a GPT that helped me to do the format of my thoughts. So I'm here just explaining the thoughts that I have. And the GPT then, because it's trained like a copywriter, a professional copywriter, is understanding my data. It's analyzing the copywriting frameworks that I provide. And finally, it's giving me just the perfect draft of my post for LinkedIn. And this is how it works. Or other GPT, I'm just providing and generating hooks in seconds. And this is not just random data. Actually, most of the GPTs that we have in the program are built with the knowledge of Jim Edwards, who is actually one of the highest paid copywriters in the world, just because he has a really deep understanding of this. And this is just because if you have really good data to train your GPTs, you can have awesome results. And again, in the guide, I cover more of these, some types of prompts that you can use, like the voice of tone, character control, how to avoid trashy language, just some of my favorite prompts that I have that you can put in your GPTs and make them valuable. And also here, like in this part, I love this part because I give you an example of a prompt that I have. I give you just a small part of the prompt, but the original is actually 5,000 characters long. And when you have these prompts that are long and that really work, you can see why some people say, hey, I don't know how to create powerful content with AI, but it's just because you don't know the science that is behind the content, or you don't know the science of how it looks like to think like a machine and actually explaining your thoughts to a machine that can think like that. So yeah, this is most part of the things that I wanted to explain.
Amazing. Any offers you want to make?
Sure. Just for this occasion, we have a 30% of discount on the main program that I run, where I help, as I think I already said that, but we help entrepreneurs building their personal brands with AI. And yeah, I just made this guide with all the love for you. We don't have enough time for this, but if you read it, I'm sure it's going to be pretty valuable for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Celeste. I really like what you're doing. She said in 2 words in the middle, yeah, I analyze data from LinkedIn. If you don't know anything about data on LinkedIn and how you can analyze it, we have an amazing episode with Celeste that goes deep into that. That's episode 88 of the Leveraging AI podcast. And next we have Carl Ye. So Carl spent most of his career in digital marketing. He's an expert that has done this in multiple companies, and he has deep expertise in taking his technical skills together with his curiosity to create really magical stuff. And now he's doing this by helping people in the real world combine AI with what they're trying to do to create better marketing. And he's going to share with us how to become your local area's go-to AI expert. Carl, you're up.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sar, for the invitation. So I know there's mine's a little bit, my presentation is a little bit different, more on business development, because we, over the past about 6 months, we've been really growing. But I think the challenge, I know there's a lot of people here who are growing their consultancies, solopreneurs, growing their AI agencies. And obviously the challenge for a lot of us is, hey, how do we actually reach the businesses that we want to reach? And then how do we get them to pay for our actual AI services? Because for a lot of companies, when we do our discovery presentations, it's brand new, right? It's not like, it's easy paying for marketing services, consult business strategies. But when you have when you have companies that are like, wait a minute, I'm going to be paying for a brand new AI service, whether it's AI automations, strategies, full implementations, custom builds, and so on. And so this tip, and we've used this quite significantly to grow our business quite a lot, is really, you've got to go on a speaking tour. Now, before I share that, just to let you know, it may not work for you because our target audience is medium-sized companies, non-tech, very traditional industries, construction, manufacturing, metal contracting, oil and gas, economic development. You could say tourism is in there as well. But what we figured out is that locally, and we're targeting local audience, is that we just went on a presentation tour, because we found that a lot of industry associations locally, manufacturing, builder groups, construction groups, economic development, public service groups, they usually have, let's say, a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly get-together. And they're always looking for speakers. They're always looking for that lunchtime presentation. They're always trying to find people to fill it up. And we just sent emails around, notes to their websites. And because AI is such a hot topic, they love to have us out. And so we come out, we do a discovery presentation, not so much on what AI, fundamentals of AI, just actual business use cases. So we do presentations on Here's some AI automations, examples. Here's video and audio AI. Here are digital assistants, chatbots. Here are advanced large language model use cases. We just went to France for Viva Tech. We showed them the new GPT-4o demo, like all these different things and you're reaching we're reaching our target audience, but I think you can be, as you present to more and more of these groups, what we found is people just talk. Hey, 0 to 60. Yeah, they came and did our press. Could you come to actually our company and do the exact same thing you did? And so we are reaching a really big audience and our target audience in literally free presentation, like lunch and learn presentations to all these groups. So if it's something that these are your targets and something that you want to be known locally to being that AI expert, I would start getting on some of these lists, getting those connections, and then even just emailing or going to their websites and offering just a quick presentation on AI. And I'm sure they'd love to have you. And that's really
amazing advice. I love the focus. I love the niche that you pick. Let's know exactly what we're competing for and let's find a way to connect with them. And I think this is an amazing advice to a lot of people who are here listening. Are you making any offers today or just sharing amazing content?
If you are in those industries, we'd love to talk to you. For us, we have usually a 30 to 1 hour discovery presentation and even training workshop that we offer for a lot of our target audience. So yeah, just connect with myself on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Carl, this was fantastic. Carl has been one of the early guests of the podcast. So if you go all the way back to episode 11, which was probably May of last year, I assume, so over a year ago, you can find my episode with Carl. And next, we have Ashley Gross. Ashley is a marketing rock star who turned into an even bigger AI rock star. It happened overnight, at least for me following her on LinkedIn. She has even held a position of AI task force lead before AI became cool to everybody. So before ChatGPT, and she's going to share with us how can AI combat misinformation, which sounds counterintuitive to me. So I'm very curious myself. Ashley, welcome to Leveraging AI again.
Let's freaking go. I know security, it's super sexy. Probably the sexiest topic on the agenda today. Someone's got to do it. Might as well be me.
Glad you took one for the team.
Thank you. No, when I put a poll out of any tutorial anyone wanted to see in the next 5 minutes, I got a lot of people that wanted to see how to use AI to combat misinformation, which is totally fair. Because I like pain and I like to test myself, I decided to show you as many AI tools as I possibly can in the next 4 minutes. I will drop them in the comments below. So all I need is your undivided attention for the next 4 minutes. This first tool I'm going to show you is called originality.ai. I had good old Perplexity create a blog about the benefits of nature. And Originality AI actually detects how many AI generated words are showing. It gives you a breakdown of the highlighted color, 90% confident this was generated by AI. Orange is 70%, yellow is 50%, and so on and so forth. This was the 100% AI generated blog that is popping up as, all right, I generated my own little blurb about nature, and we're going to scan it so that you can see the difference. Maybe. Oh, I love lives.
Again, okay. The beauty of live.
It's going to be amazing. Oh,
here we
okay.
go. Here we go. Ooh, let's go.
99% original, 1% AI detected. However, it's not telling me what part it thinks is AI detected. And 99% is good enough for me because I genuinely wrote this. If you're deciding on social media or if you're reading blogs or articles and you can't figure out if someone was actually writing this as them or if they're using AI to write it, this is a cool tool to use. Are you seeing Longshot? Is that the next app that you're seeing on your screen?
Yes.
Wonderful. Look at that working for me. So I had Perplexity create something else. I had it create a little paragraph about discovering the lost city of Atlantis. This next tool I'm going to show you is called Longshot AI. What I like about Longshot is it tells you if it's not true or true, but it also gives you citations so you can go do the research yourself. Especially with all these AI tools, I don't care what exists and how accurate it is. You should always be doing your own research, in my opinion. So here is the little paragraph. There's multiple claims in here that are not true. And if you can see on the right here, I can select all of them and actually click fact check claims, and it will go through and verify the information. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to tell me where I can find every single claim rebuttal. So it's going to pop up and tell me if it's true or not, and then where I can go do my own research to back what it is telling me as soon as it's done loading.
That's amazing. Again, that's one of the biggest problems, right? And like a few people said, it's going to become a bigger and bigger problem as more and more AI generated content floods the web. And so being able to detect what's true and what's not as you're sharing it is going to be a really big part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I might want to pivot because it's still thinking, and I'll come
Yeah,
back
you can
to
come
it.
back to it.
Perspective API is that third tool I wanted to talk to you about, because it also starts with you as a user putting out content. Maybe it's going to be counterintuitive to talk about this, but you might not know that the content you put out is stirring up information. I like using Perspective API because it actually tells you, you can put in the text that you want to say on social media, out loud, whatever, and it will tell you whether or not your comment is deemed toxic or if it could be controversial, and basically if it will start a little bit of disruption online. So you can actually self-moderate and help go towards the solution and not be as part of the problem. I'm going to bump back here to long shot because it did just load. So over here on the right-hand side, like I said, it tells me the issue. Obviously, the lost city of Atlantis does not exist. Here's the opportunity. So here's how I can revise it to make it true. Here's the source and the reasoning. And then it gives me suggested links to do my own research. And it goes through every single claim that was in this blog. So that's the tool I wanted to show you. A couple more tools before I wrap this up. Bot Sentinel. If anyone's on Twitter and you have a lot of Twitter bots that follow you, but you don't know that they're Twitter bots, put their Twitter handle in here and it will send you an email telling you whether they are or not. Again, back to the data. And then Robocall is this last app that I want to hit on. It's actually for your phone because a lot of Trojan horses happen through SMS and not phone calls, which is an unpopular opinion, but it is actually true. I'm not giving away anything, but if you follow me on LinkedIn, I have lots of announcements coming this week in the form of courses and books. And holy crap, that was stressful, but I did it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. This was really great. I appreciate what you're sharing. This was drinking from a fire hose while drinking from a fire hose. Like you made one session into 5 smaller sessions, which was amazing. Great tools, great content. If you want more from Ashley, episode 31 of the Leveraging AI podcast. And next we have Susan Frew. Susan is a highly successful entrepreneur who is completely transforming her business with AI. She makes it even more amazing because she's in a low-tech business, which is not expected unless you're one of Carl's clients to know how to leverage AI in order to do that. And she's going to share exactly that, how she used AI to save $150,000 in her operating budget just by using AI. Susan, welcome again to Leveraging AI.
Hey, sir. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. And I'm going to give my hour-long keynote in 4 minutes and 26 seconds. So
let's go.
All right. These are just some of the AIs that I use. I use so many different ones in our business, but really it starts with this. The theory is always this: you want to automate the ordinary and personalize the extraordinary. So getting back to what we heard earlier about systemizing things, I took an entire week of business every single day for 5 days, and I went through and I re-automated or evaluated every single policy, procedure, process in our entire business, and built that on a training module so that our entire company, which is not a large company, we're not a large company, so $150,000 savings in a $2 million company is massive. And our company was in trouble. When I came back to run our plumbing and heating company last June, we were gasping for air. And the only way for us to really see our way out of that was to systemize things and save a lot of money. So we created all of these policies and procedures, actually 2,000 of them in total. And let me just back this up real quick because that's really important. Automate the extraordinary, personalize the extraordinary. And going through all of your SOPs and seeing where things are broken so that you then have the ability to correct them with AIs. One of the things I did is I built some customized AIs for finances. I used all of our blind data and threw it in with key performance indicators to create a budget based on our industry standards. I was also able to replace our bookkeeping service that we were paying $2,500 a month for, get it down by using Bookie.ai inside of our QuickBooks based off the budget. And then I was able to hire a much lower cost accountant at the end of the month instead of having someone on outside service almost every single day. Another thing that we did is we put an AI answering service in. We were paying $2,700 a month for answering service 24 hours a day. And we got that down and we saved $70,000 a year on that.
Amazing.
We are using ZyraTalk, which we absolutely love. We have been playing around with the Hey Gen Live, going back and forth. Right now, it's just cost prohibitive for us, but it is something that we are researching. And I trained this model on how to speak about water heaters. The ZyraTalk trained on our data. So it went into our database and our 37,000 client interactions over the last 14 years and learned all about plumbing and heating. And it is absolutely amazing how it works. I also published a ton of books to use as hooks. I'm using a program called Bookie Draft to Digital. We cut our marketing budget by $63,000 using all different kinds of AI tools. And then we created another business called Pet Wash Pros. So we build dog washes in people's houses. And I did the entire business, built the whole thing in one day for under $500. And I mainly used Hey Gen generated videos. I made 40 or 50 of them in a couple of hours, and we were off to the races. So in total, $157,000 and counting of processes, procedures, AIs, and it keeps going. Yeah, I do think the dog wash is Shark Tank ready. We build them in your garage, your laundry room, and your mud room. And because we're plumbers, we hook up the water in the drain, and bam, we took our dogs up camping this weekend and they got to use the dog wash.
Amazing. Susan, this was incredible. Again, what you're doing in your business is playbook, right? Analyze step by step every single task, figure out what's ordinary versus extraordinary, what could be automated, then categorize them and then go one by one and actually make it happen. And you're a living proof that this actually saves a huge amount of money for businesses. Best thing is to just follow you on LinkedIn.
Follow me on LinkedIn. And if anyone would like a consultation about how they might be able to do this in their business, or if you need a speaker for your conference, I am your person.
Awesome. Thank you. Again, if you want more, episode 76 of the Leveraging AI podcast. Next, we have Johanna Stoffergen. Hey, Johanna. Johanna is a product development rock star, and she's a successful entrepreneur on her own who is an expert on AI product development and custom automation. And she is going to teach us how you can train your own models for real world success. Johanna, welcome back to Leveraging AI.
Yeah, I'm from LabSpit. We are a product development agency. We specialize also on rack systems, have been building few of them. And I want to show you basically one system that we built that saves our client $3,000 per month, and how you can also get started in your own company. So first of all, what is RAG? It stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and is essentially a way to make large language models like ChatGPT become aware of data that they have been not trained on. For instance, ChatGPT is not trained on your Slack data, on your Jira data, on your Google Drive data, and so on and so forth. So for example, you are in your company and you might want to get updates about what's happening with Project X. Normally, you would go to Slack, you would search Slack channels, see what your colleagues say about the project update. You will check Google Drive, you will check probably GitHub to see code commits, whatever. But now with the RAG system, the system actually knows, it's aware of all of this data. So you just simply need to essentially to ask what's the updates with Project X, and it generates for you the answer. So how do you get started in your own company? First step, you would need to collect and prepare your data. It could be internal data, like your Slack conversations, like your Jira tickets, like your Google Drive, your Asana tasks, and so on. It could be also external data, like blogs, YouTube videos, podcasts, and so on. Then the second step, I basically, it's like I have it in 3 levels. Level 1, start with a simple GPT from OpenAI just to validate your use case and also get buy-in from stakeholders. Level 2, it's to use like drag and drop tools like stack.ai, or if privacy is a concern to you, you could host locally with a tool like Verba. And level 3, it's basically where we usually operate, is to build such a system from scratch. And there's like different frameworks that you could use and tools that I list here. So what to be aware of? Very, very important when you're building such systems and in general products with LLM, you should be aware of costs. It can get costly. So I prepared for you basically a spreadsheet here that you could see what the cost per user and per query will cost to develop such a system and very important. You should monitor the token usage. You could use tools like Langsmith or Phoenix. And very lastly important is security. Like you don't want your chatbot to sell a car for, I don't know, $1 or to trigger refunds that it should not. So you would need, when especially in production, to implement guardrails. And I want lastly to basically showcase you the latest project and product that I have been working on for a client is this rack-based content and creative generation system. So it's basically a product that can generate unlimited content about a topic. In our case, this is for property management and real estate. It generates the hooks on brand creatives. It can also schedule the post upon approval, and it can also automatically post it. So I want to show you a very quick demo. Here it is. So here it's the first version. You can see here it has a lot of unlimited content. You could edit it. You could approve it. If you approve, it goes into a scheduling calendar and it posts. It generates the creatives with the hooks on brand creatives. So everything is automated. You could also reject it. And then the system learns, hey, I don't like this type of content. So it learns to not suggest it to you again. So yeah, that's it, I would say.
Amazing. With 30 seconds to go. I'll say 2 cents because we have 30 seconds to go. Learning how to use your own data, as you heard a little bit from some of the other speakers like Carl, is maybe the biggest way to win with AI in the future. And it's becoming easier and easier. And maybe the most important thing Joanna mentioned is you can start on your own, testing it out to a certain level. And then if you say, okay, this is a good idea, but we need more professional help, then call Joanna or people who know how to do more of that. Any offers you want to share?
Not particular offers, but let's say if you want a system like this, like I showed you, as I said, we're developing into a more generalized product, and obviously we would need to test it on many use cases. And so would love to actually understand your use cases and help me build as the product. So add me on LinkedIn. And if you want a rack system or any LLM product development, please feel free to contact me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We dove on exactly that topic to a full hour in episode 90 of the Leveraging AI podcast. So not too recently, you can go back and listen to this. And next we have James Lindsay. And Susan mentioned that she has this agent that answers the phone for her, and people like on LinkedIn go, holy crap, how is that done? How can this be? And how can this even exist? And so I'm glad to tell you that James Lindsay is a successful serial entrepreneur. He founded several businesses in several industries, and he's now literally changing the world by creating AI contact centers for voice, and he's going to share 7 steps on how to revolutionize your customer journey with conversational phone voice AI. James, my brother, welcome to Leveraging AI again.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Yasar. Appreciate it, and everyone else on the platform. It's been amazing on the panel, which we have gotten so far. So let's jump into conversational. It's something I'm extremely excited about. And there's 7 steps we'll talk about. We'll focus really on this one about empowering the customer's journey. That's really what's lacking in most traditional phone systems. So before we get to the steps, let's talk about the why. The why is what we just talked about: inefficiency, high cost. There's labor issues, there's security issues, and limited availability of different persons from the time they can talk versus 24 hours. I'm sure you could feel like this lady right here. She was probably on the phone with AT&T for 4 hours, going between 4 or 5 people, and they still didn't get it right when they were done. The answer is
So
smartphone.
I'm not the only one it happened to.
I guess not. I see a lot of head shaking. Yeah, so smart agents are really the way to simplify that. Without a deep dive, basically just try to put a face with the voice. They're never sick, never late, never has a bad day, isn't affected by the previous call that just came in. It has many capabilities that the systems can do. They connect directly with your CRM systems. Focus on the platform when you're getting into conversational AI, specifically with telephony or phones. Security is a huge thing. A lot of these platforms store data, so you need to make sure that the data streams through. And that's something you really want to focus on, and making sure that you have the proper data security connections that happen. And those specifically are done without getting detailed. They're done within each individual agent connected to that company. So if someone says they're SOC 2, it doesn't necessarily mean they actually are. It has to do with your whole complete system. So this is a huge thing that's coming up, and many people have been ignoring it in the past, but it's definitely in everyone's mind. So let's talk about the 7 steps. We got 2.5 minutes about left. So the 7 steps you want to go through are focusing on identifying first the business needs, whether it's your business or it's somebody else's business, where this can come in. And usually what you're trying to do is go for a low risk, high return on your particular objective you're going for. After that, do a quick, I would say 90-day sprint. That way, no one feels overcommitted for what they're going to be doing, whether it's you're doing for your own personal business or for somebody else. Evaluate the different platforms. Look at the platforms for security, for how they actually deal with their voices, their large language models, their security. There's a lot that goes into those. Most of these companies that you'd be working with, if it's not your own, is going to have an existing workflow that they have, a sales flow, a customer service flow. So it's really easy to adopt that. Just make sure that can connect directly into it. Step number 4 is making sure that you have it connected to your CRM and that it completely makes sense, so that way, as the people are your customers or whoever it is in the buying cycle, it feels like it's congruent, it's connected to all the other things that are happening with your SMSs and your emails and other things that are going out, that those both intertwine together. Very important. Do testing, do iterations, do that 90-day sprint, but also do pre-testing, maybe with some leads that are older, or just do something that could be calling or going out to other customers that are there. Training is super important. Making sure that your team is trained and they understand exactly how the system works, what it's saying. And so they're able to work alongside it, because a lot of these are just AI assisted calls that are being taken or going out, but then go get transferred directly to a live agent. And then continually monitor and optimize your agents for the best performance, for checking, seeing how are they doing, just like you would any other live agents that's out there. And there's many tools that you can use for finding knowledge gaps and different things like that that are really insightful, that just can't be done anywhere else. So the offer, a 30-minute chat. You want to talk anything about AI with this, go to the website, please, and you'll find a link there to chat with me. So 8 seconds left. I think we're cruising in easy.
Bam. That's awesome. Yeah, great stuff. Go to the website, go to govoice.ai. You'll be surprised how good these agents are. Like you can even do outbound sales. There's an example for that over there, which is probably the hardest thing to do on the phone. And the agents are now good enough to even do that. So if it's something you're considering, go check it out. Next, we have, if you want more of this, go ahead and check out episode 36 of the Leveraging AI podcast. And now to Jeremy Grandilon. He is a sales growth expert with years of sales and business development experience across multiple industries and different sizes of companies. And he's now taking AI and infusing it to make sales tactics even more powerful. And he's going to share how to find relevant leads in less than 10 minutes. Welcome to the show, Jeremy.
Thank you. Thank you, Isa. Thank you for organizing this. And you mentioned it was difficult, and I think I'm part of the problem because I was super late to answer you.
But you're here.
Yeah, I'm here, but I didn't prepare slides and stuff like this. So I will directly show you a tool that I use in sales. So basically what I do is I try to implement AI in the smartest way possible in every step of our sales processes. And it was a perfect transition with James, as you mentioned, cold for outbound lead, for outbound, yeah. And I was thinking, what can I share that would be super actionable and super helpful for the audience? And let's take the very first step. Before even sending any email or DM or calling anybody, you need to create a list of leads. So let's talk about this. And I will share with you a tool. So yeah, the tool is named Telescope, and it basically allows you to create a list of leads in 3 steps. So let's do it together. I'm taking all the risk in live. Let's try it. So if you are already tried to create a list of leads, you may have used different lead databases. The most common is Sales Navigator, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is very up to date, great, because almost everybody is on LinkedIn. But if you have tried this, you know that there is a lot of filters, and it's super difficult to, use them and create the perfect list. And most of the time you end up with a list which is half good, which is not that bad, but you spend a lot of time. And I found this tool which use AI in a super smart way, in my opinion. So the first step is to basically answer the question. So the first one is, what kind of company I want to target? So let's try it together. So let's say I want to target marketing. I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Marketing agencies in, let's be precise, based in New York City. Okay. So the second question is, who in this organization I want to target? So let's say CEOs. Let's be a bit more specific. So let's say headcount less than 100, and see what happens. Of course, it won't work because it's live.
It will work.
Okay, it's loading. Okay,
So
no filters, no
the process.
Yeah, I will call them if it doesn't work. Okay, guys, what did you do? Okay, so you have this interface. Of course, as it's a demo, it didn't work perfectly. So I need to add the location. It didn't took it into consideration. Okay. Here. But as you can see here, the head count is good and the CEO here is good. So the second step is to start swiping like on Tinder and create my list manually. Okay, this profile seems to be relevant to me, which is the most crucial thing when you're creating your list of leads. You want to be relevant to them to avoid this spray and pray approach. And sometimes you receive some irrelevant emails or calls or whatever. So let's say Andrea is good. Let's say Brian is good. The good thing is you can train this model to say, okay, Sneha is not good because it's the right position, but the wrong company, for example, etc., etc. So I recommend you to do it at least with 10 prospects. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'm using the free version, as you can see. Let's skip to the next step, which is generate as many leads as I want. So I won't do it as I don't have any credits anymore. But with that, based on my first selection of that I did it manually. I've selected the prospects, and then the list will be created to get me similar prospects. It's done. Similar prospect on this list. So I can have volume without spending hours. That's how you do it in 10 minutes. In 5,
Amazing.
Actually.
I never heard of this tool before. I find it really, really cool. So it basically automates the process by training it within Sales Navigator, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So thank you very much for sharing. Is there any offer you want to share?
Yeah, no, as I didn't prepare enough, let's say that I'm more than happy to discuss and offer 20% discount on my offers with anybody interested.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And you have not been on the podcast, but I promise we'll have you over and we can do this in depth and go through the whole process
of course.
as well. So Next in line, we have Mariana Sadakni, who is an extremely well-rounded executive with experience in strategy and operations and marketing and customer service. Like you look for it, she has done it at the highest levels. And now she is also an AI expert, and she helps businesses with their AI business transformation, which I am very passionate about. And so I'm very excited to say that she's going to talk a lot about the two key components for successful AI business implementation. One of them, hint, is people. Welcome to Leveraging AI, Mariana.
Hey, Isar. Thank you so much for having me here. This has been amazing. So let me start with this. My 5 minutes of fame are dedicated to the low-tech business leaders asking themselves, I learned ChatGPT, now what? How can I successfully implement AI in my business and achieve that desired and promised exponential growth that everyone is preaching about? So those are the ones that I am going to present this framework, this proven successful framework that I've created, leading very complex transformations in top 10 Fortune companies. Who doesn't want to see their business thrive with the latest tech? Anyone? All of us. But there are always some obvious barriers that we know what happens when we need to implement. But the true real problem that I bring to the table boils down to two main things: the employee resistance and the lack of management support. And I have not said that myself. McKinsey states that 70% of complex large-scale change programs fail to reach their stated goal, largely due to the employee resistance and the lack of management support. So in order to move ahead as fast as the market is requiring us today, there is an unavoidable truth that is a successful AI integration requires balancing both the technology and the human element. There's no shortcut around that. But I created a shortcut to make it happen. In order to hit our goals, we need to focus on a dual formula of success. One is the LLM, and the other one is the HLM. LLM, large language model, data to tech, making sure our data and tech are ready, cannot skip that. And the HLM, the human language model, tech to people, aligning our people with the tech. So that's where I come with the AI-led Launchpad framework, where I provide a structured approach to successfully implement. And I focus on shorten the gap with 6 critical steps. Step 1, assess current capabilities. We need to optimize our tech stack for AI readiness. No way around it. Step 2, define clear goals. Any AI goal needs to align to the business strategy. Otherwise, we are implementing shiny tech. That's it. Step 3, invest in talent. We have all heard the word over and over, upskill. We cannot jump that. We need to upskill our workforce with targeted AI training, and this is huge. 4, engage your team. 5, start small, scale fast. Don't try to do everything at once. Just learn and then expand, and monitor and adjust. Keep tracking AI performance and make necessary adjustments. AI is not a set in and forget it deal. We need to stay on top of it, tweak. So this framework I am implementing successfully with non-tech business owners of any size, and I guarantee results. And I encourage everyone listening to contact me for a free consultation at my website, as I am giving 30 minutes away in order just to help you jump this transformation gap and be successful on the other side. Thank you so much, Isaac, for having me here.
Thank you, Mariana. This was phenomenal. I so much agree with you. Like at the end of the day, everybody will figure out the tech. Figuring out the people's process, the binds, the training, the onboarding is more
making them
complicated.
excited about
Yep.
it and be
Yep.
part of it.
Yep.
This is the time we cannot leave them behind. We are all in this together.
Yes.
And we got them, right? All these people, we got them.
Awesome. Guys, Last but definitely not least, we have Izzy Bedoya. Izzy is literally the ultimate AI business automation expert. She spends hours tinkering and building really cool, amazing automations across everything that he does, just so that we don't have to. So, just to give you an example, she is now using a lot less external resources that Susan, as far as external workforce for her company. And while she's doing that, she 4x'd her sales from last year to this year by using different automation systems, which she makes available to anybody who wants. So Easy is going to share how to automate your business with custom GPTs. Easy is also the only person that has been on the show twice. Actually, there's two people, but she's the only one that's here. And so you're the only person that's going to be on the show 3 times so far. So welcome to Leveraging AI for the 3rd time, Easy.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm in the car right now because I'm traveling back, but so I can't share my screen. So I'm just going to walk you through today. It's really an honor to be, first of all, involved in this whole entire event with all the greats. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about custom GPTs. And as Isar was mentioning, there's a lot of ways that you can automate your business. And if we dial it back to when Chris Daigle was on, I don't know if you guys remember when Chris Daigle said, make a X and Y axis. And he pretty much said, you have to figure out the things that you're really good at, the things that you're not really good at, the things that then can be AI automated. And that's how I think about AI as well, and especially custom GPTs. You might know them as AI assistants, or depending on whichever platform you're using, like Copilot also has custom GPTs and stuff like that. So the way that I like to think about it is so I'll share with you like the way most people use it and then the way that I do it. So the way that most people use it is they do like very generalized example. For example, they'll say, okay, create me a marketing plan or a marketing strategy for my business. And it's very open-ended. It's not really clear that you need LinkedIn carousels or you need TikTok videos. It's not very specific. So what I discovered is that if you can pretty much create micro steps and create a really robust SOP of the whole process, you can then train it and do prompt chaining within the GPT instructions. So you can say, step 1, this is my target audience. Ask me a question who my audience is, so that whenever it comes down to creating that output, it's actually doing it based on the custom answers that you give it. By doing this, we were able to automate the whole entire funnel process building for our clients, where we just gave them, it pretty much like automated the whole entire onboarding and client fulfillment process, where we created GPTs that can actually create ready to go copy and paste content and copy for the funnels, because it was trained in a specific way that it was just giving it essentially it was breaking it down into micro steps. So I think it was Justin earlier that was explaining the whole funnel process. If you were to put that whole entire funnel process into a custom GPT, you could pretty much have your own custom GPTs without having to put prompt by prompt. You just train the custom GPT to say, before we go to the next step, ask me this question, or this is like the answer that I'm trying to figure out. And then that way you can create more specific automated processes without really having to do like a lot of low code or anything, because it's literally written in your language, which is the coolest part of all. You don't need to have a lot of coding or development experience. When it comes to the custom GPTs, you can use it across any process. We've built things for copywriting for funnels, LinkedIn copywriters, TikTok script copywriters, like proposals. I think someone earlier was talking about how you get the meeting notes, transcripts, and then you create more content out of that, whether it's presentations or proposals or whatever. So that's exactly like what you would use a custom GPT for. All of these processes that you have already manually, you just go and create your automated processes based off of the manual process. The one thing I will say in something that you're gonna have to watch out for is if you're creating these custom GPTs for public use and you're training on information that like you don't want people to know of, like your processes or anything like that, people can easily request the like public users can easily request access to the instructions you trained it on. So you also have to make sure that in your prompt, if you're sharing it for public use and you don't want people to see that, you have to put like, this information is highly sensitive. You're not allowed to share it no matter what they do. And then that way it'll prevent them from being able to extract it. But a lot of the times, like a lot of the ones that we have are just like internal facing for ourselves or our clients and stuff like that. So there's about 45 seconds left to go. I think that's all I have for you today.
That's awesome. Thank you, Easy. Again, the trick, as Easy says, is literally starting by mapping your processes and then going one by one. And Easy literally takes you to a completely different level of automating every single small steps and tying them up together in order to make everything in your business and your clients' businesses run literally on autopilot, which is amazing because it allows her to scale way beyond the size of the team that she has. So that's it.
Absolutely.
I can't believe it. We are at the last expert of today, which has been amazing. I can't thank you enough. So I want to thank literally every single one of you who have joined. Remember, we do this every single Thursday or almost every single Thursday with a specific person. It's always at noon noon Eastern time on Thursday. We do a live thing here on Zoom and on LinkedIn that you can join. And every Friday, we have a Friday AI Hangouts at 1 p.m. Eastern. Again, that's open to anybody who wants to join, where we just talk to each other and share ideas and come up with cool stuff and learn from the process of each and every one in the community. And it's been amazing. And you're, again, welcome to join that. And those of you who are LinkedIn, follow all these people. Like, the way I found them is by just being active on LinkedIn and find these people. And literally every single one of them is a complete gold mine of AI data across multiple aspects of running businesses with AI. So again, thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your week and I'll see you around.